going on, Bucs fans? Before I get today's show started, I want to ask you guys a question. What is your favorite restaurant in Tampa? For all my Tampa natives out there, I lived in Channelside for a year before moving here to Dallas to do this job. And I lived like right next to the Sparkman Wharf and right next to Amalie Arena. So my favorite has to be Olivia. It's an Italian restaurant just up the street. It's very, very good. Spicy rigatoni, so good. Or spicy alla vodka. But you let me know, what is your favorite restaurant in Tampa, and we'll get today's show started. What's going on, Bucs fans? You're watching Bucs Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Reed Barkus. Wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching, hope you're having a great day. Now, the Bucs are adding some much-needed O-line help with a familiar face in Mr. Justin Skule. Greg Allman, our guy, breaking the news saying the Bucs are bringing back offensive lineman Justin Skule, a key backup from 2022 to 2024, who played for the Vikings last year. Now, we'll get to his time with the Vikings and his time in general in the NFL. Not the best, but that's not really what we need him for. So he returns to the Bay. He is 29 years old, so he's a veteran, but still pretty young in terms of, playing and being on the field. And, a lot of times after you turn 30 as an offensive lineman, your joints start to hurt. Anybody who watched Jason Kelsey, the Kelsey documentary, he was getting everything you could dream of to try and play each week. So 29, still young, but got that veteran mind. Last year, 10 games played, 62 grade for pass blocking, and 7 sacks allowed. So, he started 10 games, but he spent 3 seasons with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as we know, a great backup swing tackle. He can play left and right tackle. So a great guy, just versatile in terms of adding depth to this O-line room where we really need some help, not in terms of the starters, just in terms of making sure that whatever happened last year does not happen again. But 1,774 snaps on offense in his career, took 61% of the snaps in Minnesota 2025. Now, speaking of Minnesota, his overall PFF grade, 65.7, pass blocking, 63. Now, he just 578 snaps. I was talking to our Minnesota Vikings host, Patrick Seatman, and I go, hey, he covers the Vikings every single day, watched every single game last year. How was Skule in those 10 games that he played? And he goes, honestly, in the beginning of the season, I said he's probably the best swing tackle in the league. By the end of the season, he said he stunk. So, when I think about this offensive line room, I'm not adding Skule in here to start over Luke Gedeke, or obviously not starting over Tristian Wirfs or getting snaps instead of, it's more of a depth piece where you got a veteran in there who knows what he's doing, has played with the Buccaneers before, he's been with the organization, so it's a good guy to bring back on a 1-year deal where you just need depth, because that is one thing that I am kind of terrified about, especially last year because it was so bad, but you need depth to help. Offensive line is a tough job. Any former offensive line out there, clearly you look at me, I was not an offensive lineman, but you're going to war every single time you're in the trenches. So injuries happen, and we know this from last year. Injuries definitely do happen in 2025. Our starting offensive line never got a full game together. They never got a full, as them together. They never played together as a whole squad together. Obviously Cody Mach got injured, but Luke Gedeke came back, and so no one was ever together in before. And you look at these injuries, Tristian Wirfs, obviously that arthroscopic knee surgery in July, make him miss the first 3 weeks. Cody Mach, season-ending knee injury. Luke Gedeke, that foot injury. Ben Bredeson, a knee injury, missing weeks 14 through 17 towards the end of the season. And then, our backup, Luke Haggard, missing 7. This is just, it is not what I want to derail 2026. I don't want us to think about the offensive line and, hey, if somebody goes down, we're screwed again because Baker Mayfield can't get, and obviously the injuries to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, we need everyone, Jalen McMillan, to stay on the field. We want injuries to not be a factor. Obviously, it's the NFL. Injuries are going to be a factor, but we want enough depth in that offensive line room where if, God forbid, something like that happens again, because it is extremely important for a new offense to have every one of your players start out the season at least as long as you can, avoid injuries, and have that continuity with, I think, a very good offensive line when healthy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Bucs offensive line is top 10, top 15 in the NFL when healthy. Tristian Wirfs, best tackle in the league. I don't know, but you be honest. Tell me, grade the Buccaneers offensive line room for 2026. That full offensive line, I mean, the whole room in general, but like that, our starting five is good. Like, that is a good offensive line. But grade the whole room as a whole in 2026. A, B, C, D, or F. Please put your comments in the comment section. Yes. Read English today. I'm sorry, guys. Long weekend. We had a 3-day weekend, so still getting back to it. But the O-line depth could actually continue if you think about it. Because if you guys saw, I think it was on the 4th. Yes. Yeah. So that, what was that? Was that a Friday? Was that Friday? That was on Friday. Aaron Wilson came out with this, that the Buccaneers are working out Texans first-round guard and starter Kenyon Green on Thursday. So it came out on Friday, but he worked out on Thursday. Green, 25, was traded to the Eagles last year, then later played for the Ravens, former Texas A&M. So I don't know how to think about this. Now, what's funny is I was scripting this show as talking about Kenyon Green and talking about the offensive line depth that we're going to need in 2026. And what do you know? They signed Justin Skule to a 1-year deal. Now, I don't know, because if you think about Kenyon Green, you think about bust, because he was former number 15 overall pick in the 2022 NFL draft, and he's been a disappointment. Like, I don't think anyone can disagree with that. Our Texans host, Jeremy Chuggs, shout out to him. I go, hey, what is your honest opinion on Kenyon Green? Because obviously we know everything about the injuries and just him not living up to the potential that we thought he had. And he goes, he sucks. So it's just like he was traded to the Eagles in March and was waived before the season even started. And the craziest stat here is in 2024, obviously he missed some time, but 2024, he was qualified enough out of all 77 guards. He was number 76 out of 77. And in 2022, he was 77 out of 78. That's terrible. You can't get around that. So he's injury prone, and he's not good at being an offensive lineman in the NFL. And you're bringing him in to work out. Now, I know the Bucs have a good history of, developing offensive linemen, but if he goes to the Eagles with Jeff Stoutland and you can't develop him, Howie Roseman can't develop him. I mean, yes, when Howie Roseman trades for somebody, that's probably somebody that you would want because he's a pretty good GM. But when they waive him before the season starts, I don't want that guy, especially because we bring in Skule before this. I was, like I said, scripting this, and I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about Kenyon Green, and then he signs. I'm like, now we definitely don't need to, because if we're thinking about bringing in Kenyon Green, and then I think it's just more of we want offensive line depth, and then you find a guy like Skule and you bring him back. I don't want Kenyon Green. Let somebody else develop him. Let's not think about that this year. Let's think about getting back to the playoffs, winning the division, and we'll go from there. And by the way, if you guys did not see a little bit of NFL news, Giants All-Pro defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence has requested a trade and will not be participating in the team's offseason workout program that opens Tuesday. Interesting. So, I just want to kind of nip this in the butt real quick. The Bucs are not going to offer Dexter Lawrence. We're not going to trade for them. We signed too many people in free agency in terms of bolstering that defensive line, bringing back Raheem Nunez-Roches. We're not in the game of trading for Dexter Lawrence. I just want to put that out there. Anything can happen in the NFL, but I think you guys all know we're not trading for Dexter Lawrence. But I just wanted to, add that to the end of today's show. Speaking of today's show, it is all over. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the show. If you want more Bucs content all off-season long, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll be here all off-season giving you as much content as I possibly can for free. We're at 1,693 subscribers, which is absolutely unbelievable. Started at 52. If you were one of the original subscribers before 100 subscribers or, in the beginning, please let me know down in the comment section because, you got to tell everyone else how good of a content and channel it is to subscribe to. Got to help me out in the comments. All right. I'm talking too long, but if you guys want more content, make sure to go to my Twitter, at Reed_Barkis on Twitter. Post a couple stuff on there, repost a bunch of stuff, and you guys can talk to me, hang out with me. If you follow me, I'll follow you right back. So make sure you do that, and like the video, subscribe, all the YouTuber stuff at the end of the video. All right, I'm talking too long again. As always, fire the cannon.